Hello everyone, Shred here, and in this video I wanted to share with you my experience with Honkai Impact 3rd after playing it for over a year. And as you might have guessed, it was and still is a pleasant and enjoyable experience. And I'm saying this as a free-to-play player, meaning that I have not spent any money on the game. Even though it's a mobile game with a gacha system, most people would think that this is just the usual cash grab with automatic battle features and stuff. You know, like most mobile games. And I also thought the same. But that changed once I tried the game. And the first thing that struck me was the gameplay. It's very smooth and requires actual user input to play, although it seems very simplistic at first, because you only have to move your characters and smash 2 or 3 buttons to attack with occasional dodge. It's not the case later on, where you have to do stuff in order to achieve the maximum potential of the characters you're playing. So this pretty much told me that the game is not strictly bound to whoever has the best character and gear, but also needs skills. Of course, if you have both, you'd be unstoppable. However, there isn't any direct PvP or player versus player mode in the game. There are still leaderboards where people can compete with each other on who can defeat a certain boss or stage the fastest. But that's all the PvP you can get, except for the rare occasional events that last for a couple of weeks. The gameplay part was pretty solid to me, so the next thing I looked for were the characters. And yeah, there are many characters. Although they use the same base character model multiple times with a different outfit and hairstyle, they do in fact change in terms of gameplay. Each one has their own unique mechanic, some simple and some a bit more technical. The best example would be Fuwa. Her team revolves around combo attacks with punches and kicks. You have the base one, which is pretty easy to understand, just pressing the attack button and sometimes the ultimate button to do a more powerful attack, and she can also shoot fireballs. And then you have this version that is mainly focused on combos and rotating between them, because some moves replenish these little bars above the health, while other moves consume them to do more damage. So it's not a simple copy and paste of the character, but they have different mechanics, and also different movesets, making it not boring and repetitive, except for the early Bronya versions. Her attacks are different depending on the weapon equipped, but still each one having their own style. Initially I was wondering why they were using the same characters, but it became very obvious as to why once I started the story section of the game. And let me tell you that this is the best part of the game in my experience. However, initially I had no interest in the story whatsoever. I thought it was the usual cliché where you have the protagonist defeating some big evil with the power of love and friendship. To my surprise, it wasn't like that. Well, to some extent it partially is. You still have characters fighting evil enemies. In this case, Honkai beasts, zombies, mechas, etc. However, after the first chapter, the story slowly starts to shift to a more dark tone, and that's where I started to follow it. But what gave me the last push to fully love it are the cinematic animations that you find at the end of some chapters. Even though they are in 3D, they are extremely well animated. Not only that, it's also paired with very good music and fully voice acted. All of that to provide incredible moments in the history of Honkai Impact. And my favorite one is and always be Final Lesson at the end of chapter 9. The first time I saw it, I pretty much burst into tears. These animations, although they are only around 5 minutes each, show a lot of character emotions, very powerful ones, and they get me every time. The reason as to why is because the story revolves and focuses around these few characters. And going through the story you see them grow, not only mentally but also physically, and that's the answer as to why they keep using the same base model, is to show that they are changing and moving forward. Something that I haven't really noticed until recently is how the game presents the story, gameplay and cinematic animation. They all flow nicely together. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that there aren't many disconnects when experiencing the game. You go from the story, where you have the characters talking with each other in 3D and sometimes have 2D slideshows. Then move to some animations, then to gameplay, always in 3D, keeping the same characters models as they are presented. It's the consistency, and not many mobile games can or are able to do it. I know I sound stupid, but that's one of the reasons I like the game. Lastly, I'd like to touch on the fairness and progression of the game. As a free-to-play player, I'd say it's quite generous. As you can see, I was able to get many characters. That's because I mostly spent crystals for characters and not so much on equipment, since having a new character unlocks a different playstyle. Plus, the weapon and stigmatas can be crafted. Although they are not as powerful, it's more than enough, at least for me. And as of late, they are introducing more and more craftable stuff that was once gacha exclusive. I won't lie, some of them do take quite a long time to gather all the materials needed, but I'm in no rush. In fact, I don't even push the leaderboard at all. I just do the stages once to get the rewards, and that's it. I'm more on the collector side than a competitive one. I could try to push, but the rewards difference isn't that big and not worth the stress. I personally like to take it slow and simply enjoy what the game has to offer. And so far, it didn't disappoint me. Many events, ongoing story, and new characters with each update. The game is still actively being developed and polished. Despite having released Genshin Impact, MiHoYo is not slowing with Honkai Impact yet. And for that they have all my respect and my thanks for bringing these games. Thank you MiHoYo. And also thank you all for watching this video and sticking this far. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider leaving a like and a comment with your thoughts on the game or video. I do read every comment. But that's all for me. Once again, thank you all for watching and good luck. Bye!